Hello, class. End of the day for me, so I'm a little tired, but I want to make sure I communicate with you about the quiz. And I said I would post a recording so that at least you hear my what I would imagine would be a good response to the short answer questions on the quiz. All right, so I'm going to put the quiz up here on the screen. All right, hopefully you can see that well enough. It looks a little small, but well, I can't make it any larger. So I'm going to walk through each of these questions and outline for you what I was looking for, and hopefully that'll be instructive to you. So the next time you take a quiz, you can approach these short answer questions maybe with a little more precision. All right, usually they are aimed at a topic we have talked about or I've talked about with you, and generally I try to pattern them after examples we have had together in class. All right, so this first question is about Abbott, who is a general partner, and Trudy, who is a limited partner. Now, Trudy starts out helping at the partnership office, the mall management office, and her duties start to grow. I mean, she starts out in clerical work, and she goes to answering questions on the phone or in person for new investors, lenders, potential tenants. She begins showing the empty units and she starts collecting the rent. So she starts to do a lot more managerial work for the partnership. 3 years pass, and the mall gets sued. All right. So Trudy, what is her liability? That's the question that's been posed here. So Trudy has started to look a lot more like a general partner, not the limited partner slash investor that she started out as. And so what results from that? The more responsibility she takes on, the more she looks like a general partner, she's going to be treated like a general partner. And if the partnership gets sued and the plaintiff is able to argue that about Trudy's role, she will have to stand in the lawsuit and be responsible for the partnership's alleged breach of contract or their misrepresentation. So it's unfortunate for Trudy, but that's what's happened. And that's something you need to look out for if you are a limited partner in a limited partnership. All right, let's move on. Take a look at the second question. All right, the second question here, I have three people, Colin, Bill, and Kathy. They've come to your office. They want to talk about the LLC form of doing business. All right, they're concerned about their personal liability. And so all I asked you here was to give one advantage and one disadvantage of the LLC. So one advantage certainly would be the LLC will afford Colin, Bill, and Kathy limited personal liability. Their personal assets will be protected. The second advantage, you only have to give me one, but a second advantage would be that an LLC can be taxed like a partnership. So it'll pass through and be taxed only at one level, not at two levels like a corporation is taxed. Right? That's one advantage and you have to come up with. Second part of the question, I asked you for a disadvantage, and we went over this. If you happen to have, either read your textbook or you happen to look at the video I posted, all right, there's not too many disadvantages to an LLC, but one disadvantage could be that there is a lack of uniformity across our nation. So from state to state, the law can be different. And that can be a bit of a hassle if you think you're going to operate more nationally. And certainly around the world, an LLC is not that known an entity. So if you intend for your business to go global, an LLC would not perhaps be the entity you would choose. All right, so those are kind of some downside. That's the downside of an LLC. I wouldn't say those are really terrible or horrible disadvantages, but they are disadvantage compared to, say, a corporation, which is much more recognizable around the world. Okay, so that's the second question. Let me go on to the third question. All right, this third question I gave you oh, I don't think I answered it here in front of me, but I can talk about it off the top of my head. All right. So this third question is about Chris, and he has ideas for a new company with environmentally safe cleaning products. All right. He doesn't have much money though of his own, but he wants to incorporate under a name that he has picked. Okay, Grow Green, and he has some friends that want to come in with him to invest. All right. So he's going to take these steps to get started. And I asked, what's Chris's role? All right. And I asked for 2 to 3 examples of the work Chris would do in that role. Now, I realized after posing the question that you had a little trouble telling me what is Chris's role. And maybe I should have asked, what kind of position does he have in relation to the corporation? Maybe that would have helped. But really what I was looking for here is Chris is going to act as a promoter, right? He's going to be trying to get this company off the ground. So I did accept, he answered entrepreneur. That's certainly a role he could have, but the term we were trying to learn is promoter. So if you didn't get that, that's okay. I think I stopped deducting if you did not state promoter, but you gave Chris some kind of a role as a promoter entrepreneur. Now, what kind of work would he do, though, as a promoter or an entrepreneur? Well, certainly he would be looking for investors. He has a couple of friends already, but he would probably be looking for more investors. He would be trying to set up his corporation. So he would be in charge of getting the articles on file, maybe prior to that, checking out the name that he proposes, Grow Green, Inc. He would be taking care of the documentation other than the articles, which would include bylaws, and he may be trying to find office space to get the company up and running. All right, he might even be hiring people, either professionals to help him to do this, or even employees for the new company just to get up and running. So in the context of what we learned, I believe you could come up with 2 to 3 examples of the type of work Chris would do. And that's what I was looking for in the question. Can you identify the work that Chris would do? And that's how you got credit for this third question. All right, now let's take a look at the fourth question on the screen, which involves Trevor, Ryan, Marcia, and Melanie. Oh, I didn't see that fourth name. All right, anyway. All right, and they're siblings. They own a restaurant together. They call their restaurant Bright Star Kitchen. All right. Now, before they opened up, though, they agreed they wanted a right of first refusal in the bylaws. Now, I just asked you, what's the reason for that? Why would the 4 of them want a right of first refusal? Well, they are a small company. They are an S corporation. They probably are all involved in the management of their investment in this restaurant. And they are going to be cautious about letting any new person come in. All right. They want to maintain their ownership. They want to maintain their control. They all know each other really well. So if they bring a new person in, that changes the mix a bit, right? And so that's why they want a right of first refusal. If any one of the 4 decide they no longer want to be part of the Bright Star Kitchen restaurant, then the other 3 want to have the ability to buy the shares off of that 4th who is leaving. They want that ability before any outsider can come in and buy the shares. And so that's the point of having a right of first refusal. I was looking for a discussion of that in response to this question. Right. All right. And then our last question, I just gave you some short scenarios regarding a partnership among 3 people and asked you, particular things about the operation of the partnership. So number 1, if the partnership needs a new copier, they want to make this major purchase, right? How many partners have to agree to make a purchase? 2 of the 3. We need a majority of the partners to agree. Number 2, will the 3 partners be compensated for their involvement in the partnership business? No. Generally speaking, partners are not compensated for their work. They are required as partners to give their best effort to see the business function and operate. How are they going to recoup anything? at the end of the year or at certain junctures, they each will be given a share of the revenues or profits, but they are not compensated for their work on a day-to-day basis unless it's been agreed to prior to the partnership formation or sometime during the partnership operations. Right? So no, the answer to number 2 should be no. Number 3, if Greg suggests that Walter become a partner, how many partners must agree? All right. If you're going to admit a new partner, you need unanimous agreement among the partners. So all 3 need to agree to add Walter. And then number 4, identify 2 ways the partners may dissociate. And I have a typo here. I'm sorry about that. The word is dissociate, not disassociate. All right. But how could they do that? Well, one of the partners could withdraw and just say, I'm done with this business. I want to retire. One of the partners could transfer their interest, sell their interest, perhaps. Okay. One of the partners could die or file for bankruptcy. So any number of ways that a partner may dissociate, and I'm just looking for 2. All right. If you can name 2, they're correct. You got the 2 points there. All right. So anyway, that should cover the short answer questions. I am going to post this without doing the captioning right away, just so you have my take on these short answer questions. And I will try to get back to this and substitute in a video with the proper captioning. All right. So I'm going to close out for now. And please let me know if you have any questions about your particular paper. All right. Signing off.